They need fucking giga light speed to begin with.
This recent report, published in The Local, gained a lot of traction on social media. Indians, instead of going to Sweden, are moving out. But why? Wasn't Sweden the social democratic utopia those looking to settle abroad wanted to move to? Sweden represented a third way, which had combined growth traits of a capitalist economy and the benevolence of a welfare state. And this, combined with Sweden's liberal migration policy, made it a country which saw hundreds of thousands of immigrants from Iraq, Somalia, and several other war-torn countries move to Sweden. A haven for refugees, a liberal paradise. But that's changing, and changing fast. Hello and welcome, you're watching The Mint, and I'm Abhishek Singh. In this video, we will find out the answer to two important questions. Why Indians in particular are choosing to leave Sweden. And the bigger picture. Because it's not just the Indians who are leaving. Syrians, Iraqis, and even the Chinese are leaving. First up, let's try to understand why the Indians are either coming back to India or leaving Sweden for other European countries or the US. As of 2022, as many as 50,000 Indians were living in Sweden. The number of Indians moving to Sweden has been greater than the number of Indians moving out for the last 2 decades, year after year. But as per the Local's report, for the first time since records began, more Indians are leaving than moving to Sweden. In fact, the number of Indians who left Sweden this year makes them the largest group of immigrated foreigners in the first half of the year to move out. A total of 2,837 Indians left Sweden between January and June, a 171% increase on the same period last year, which makes Indians by a large margin the biggest group of immigrated foreigners, followed by people born in Iraq, China, and Syria. Ankur Tyagi, a software engineer who moved to Sweden 4 years ago, feels Sweden is not for everyone. His post on Twitter about Indians leaving Sweden for various reasons crossed 300,000 views.
And I would say it's not exactly the reverse migration, but it's something individual choice, to be honest. But in the post itself, I mentioned a couple of 10 pointers. So as an Indian, we are very close to our family ties, and so we miss family. It's all individual decisions. Some people come and go within a year or 6 months, and some people try to adjust and try to relearn or unlearn, basically.
Interestingly, another factor which Ankur also alluded to is the availability of better opportunities elsewhere, including back in India.
One of my friend last year, he also left. He was a good friend. I will take his example, to be honest. And his main point was he was not happy being an ambitious person. The group kind of a growth we have in India, kind of opportunities you have, there is a well-groomed startup ecosystem in Bangalore and in Pune as well. But here things are moving very generous pace, not very fast, not very slow. So if you are very ambitious, so you feel sometimes stuck in that pace. So you don't have much freedom to do what you want, because as you go up in the ladder, so you have to pay a lot of taxes.
Now, migrants, including Indians, may have their own reasons to move out. But for decade-long established trends to change, there have to be some other factors at play. And there are.
Gang wars and shootings have kept Sweden on tenterhooks for years. The situation is getting increasingly brutal.
Some say the rise of violence in recent years shows that integration has failed in Rinkeby.
As per some, what has changed is the attitude of the Swedes, which in part is a result of increase in crime, gun violence, riots. In fact, present-day Sweden carries the dubious distinction of having the highest rate of gangland killings in Europe. The average age of serious offenders in Sweden is the lowest across Europe. In a lot of cases, children in their low teens are being arrested for crimes like murders. More and more suburbs are being officially classified, especially vulnerable areas where it is hard, bordering on impossible for the police to operate. You know, a kind of a no-go zone. In fact, if you want to find out how serious this problem is, look at this clip of the 60 Minutes crew being violently attacked in what's called the Little Mogadishu in Sweden, since mostly Somali migrants live there.
Go on! Whoops! Nej men vad fan!
Hey.
Gå on!
Now that clip is 8 years old. But if you want to find out how serious the problem is, just go on YouTube and other social media platforms and type no-go zones in Sweden, and you would come across dozens of such videos. Less than a decade ago, Sweden had one of the lowest levels of gun crimes in Europe. But as per reports, now Sweden is the second highest. In Stockholm, gun violence is roughly 30 times that of London. In a lot of these crimes, immigrants are seen to be involved. And what Sweden is going through is called by some of its neighbors the Swedish condition. Now, a large number of the refugee population is dependent on state to survive. This is a huge burden even on the economy of a wealthy country like Sweden.
The growing housing shortage is predicted to affect more than 500,000 Swedes. Some are blaming immigrants for these issues.
There's a storm coming for Sweden, Jens.
I would say that we've been through tough times.
Central banks are predicting that there will be a slowdown. This is, of course, a concern.
And to make matters worse, Sweden is in the middle of a recession. Swedish growth has stagnated over the past 2 years, and GDP declined in the second quarter of 2024. So it is not a surprise that the voices against immigration are getting stronger. And also, some, including Indians, are leaving of their own volition because of a lack of the kind of opportunities which once drew them in. All these factors combined have resulted in a change in the overall mindset.
Why are you laughing at me? Swedish recession is good for me. You guys pay me in dollars. That's what it is.